Jaune lands the ship in the outskirts of the Land of Darkness, but he knew the Grimm will just tear that ship apart to prevent him from escaping. He walks through the barren landscape into the witch's domain, as all the Grimm here only answer to her. He then finally reaches his destination, Evernight Castle. With Salem at the balcony, arms crossed, looking down at the most destructive High Grimm she ever faced. He stood at the base of the castle with the Grimm surrounding him as more come to gather, from Nevermores to Borbatusks to Beowulfs to Ursa to King Taiju to Sphinxes to Manticores and more. Salem, so you finally arrived. Jaune, fate waits for no one, even you. Salem, I'll give you this one chance, serve me and I will grant you anything you desire. Jaune, I have all that I desire, unlike you who couldn't see what you had. Salem scowls, reminded of her millennia-long loss. Salem, is that your final answer? Jaune, it is my only answer. And besides, I believe it would be fun to fight the Queen of Darkness. Salem, so be it. She waved her hand, and the collected army of Grimm surrounding the Dark Slayer went down on him in waves. Jaune, in the words of my foolish little brother, let's rock. Jaune then charges the army of Grimm alone. A horde of apathy armed with scythes stood in front of him as he used Rapid Slash to break through their ranks and used Overdrive to deadly effect. A Megaliath stood on his way, using its size on the Dark Slayer, only for Jaune to flip up and slash at its head as he lands on its back, as he slowly sheathes Yamato after he fully sheathes it. The head of the elephant split into multiple pieces. He then was pelted by a barrage of feathers as he looks up to see squadrons of Nevermores, as he used his air trick to match them in the sky as he follows them and launched his own flurry of Mirage Blades. Easy to say that the Nevermores never stood a chance, as he was free falling. A pack of Beowulfs was launched by Bearing Less suddenly assailed him as he responded with his own Yamato combo. He looks down to see a King Taiju to waiting for him to land. He then manifested Beowulf and used a lunar phase, spinning like a buzzsaw, cutting the snake in half. He continued his assault as he was already slain 10,000 Grimm on his way to the gates. Seeing as the insides of the castle was filled with Grimm, he opted to use the crystal formations as platforms as he slowly but surely ascends the tower, only to be met by many Geist Grimm as they possess the crystals, creating a Crystal Grimm hybrid. He then attempted to cut through, only to be met with stalwart resistance as the crystals was dense enough to repel Yamato, but a few more hits was able to cut the gems in half. Taking up more of his energy and stamina, Jaune then broke through one of the windows and inside to avoid wasting more time on the Geists, only to be met with more apathy and some Deathstalkers, as he sees the massive interior of the castle can house larger Grimm. After dispatching many of the Grimm, he failed to notice his body was absorbing the fading miasma of all the Grimm he slain. He felt more aggressive and more bloodthirsty. After more hordes, he was finally able to reach the throne room, only for Salem not to be there. He looks up to figure that Salem might be at the top of the castle. The doors open to show a pack of hounds. Jaune, no, damn it. He fought them attempting to break the hold, but saw that one of them reveal his human or Faunus face. Faunus Hound, kill me. He tried using the same ability he used on Summer to them, and to his surprise it worked. He noticed many of the victims were silver-eyed people. Before the Grimm could enter, Jaune opened a portal to Oshbin's tower, and through the people there, Oshbin came out of the portal. Oshbin, Jaune, what are these? Jaune, they're silver-eyed people turned into Grimm by Salem. Oshbin's eyes widen as he looks around to see his old home now turned into a hive of darkness. Jaune, go back. If anything happens to me, you have to tell my family. He then shoves Oshbin back into the tier through dimensions as he abruptly closes it. Vergil then stares upwards, determined to end this. He was nearing the top, but then a giant whale Grimm rammed into the section where he was at, knocking him off the tower. He then launched a Mirage Blade to its face and tricked up to it. Jaune, a Monstra. This is just a giant mobile Grimm spawning pool, if this even goes for a kingdom. He then quickly slashes at it, causing minor damage. Jaune, damn it, it's too large. He then got an idea. Jaune, fuck it, I'm beginning to think like Dante. He jumps to its nose. Jaune, alright, you overgrown beluga whale, eat me. He jumps and transforms to sing Grimm Trigger and floats in front of it as it opens its large mouth and swallowed him. After a few minutes it began screaming as it tries to go up, but falls back to the ground as it hits a tower. And its eyes split open as something flies out of it. It was Vergil, covered and drenched in miasma, the aggression getting worse by each and passing moment. He then walked up back to the tower and fighting his way up to the top. 36,721 Grimm later. Evernight rooftop. Vergil stood while looking at a smiling Salem. Salem, I see that you really do live up to your potential. But Vergil was having none of it. Jaune, everything has an end, Salem, even us. Salem, I agree to disagree. The two fought as Jaune noticed he was slowing down the fatigue. The frustration was catching up to him. But he gave Salem a fight for her lifetime. Salem began raining the elements at him as he used trick dodge to avoid all of it and comes close only for her to summon a seer Grimm and slashes at him with its sharp tentacles, wounding him slightly. Vergil can't stop, not now, as he draw more from his Grimm Trigger as he summoned his Mirage and tag team Salem, one taking on her defense and breaking her magical barriers while the original went in for the kill. Salem then summoned Grimm Tendrils and snapped at the Grimm Knight as he continues his assault as he threw Mirage Edge for a round trip as the spinning blade was keeping her from escaping his range. Salem then called a Vergil as one jumped from the shadows as Jaune used Beowulf Dragonbreaker to smash its head to pieces. She waved her hand and many Grimm from the lower floors began swarming in. Jaune used one of his trump cards, Hell on Earth. Man, these recording and optimizing takes time. And blasted the entire rooftop clean of Grimm. But he was getting tired, but so was Salem. Salem was huffing, using a barrier to keep herself from getting thrown off. Then Vergil went in with Yamato and Mirage Edge in full Sin Grimm Trigger. But before he could make contact, the transformation wore out. Even so, he pressed his attack and slices and dices at Salem, who was healing only, but slowly, as it seems her magic and Jaune's lineage has an effect on her immortality, or maybe it's gone as the brothers are dead. Either way, Vergil went in for the kill, but Salem waved her hands as loud screeches can be heard as a couple of Alpha Nevermore came swooping in and biting both of Vergil's arms with an iron grip and took him away. As they flew through the air as the Grimm Knight struggles to break free, the Nevermore dived bomb into a massive Grimm pool, taking Vergil with them. He was dunked into the sea of Grimm as he was engulfed with the pitch blackness. One thing comes to his mind as all the negativity of remnants soon flowed into him, and he couldn't gather his thoughts to even think. Fear, anger, hate, sorrow, despair, then apathy. Then everything went dark. Salem won. A few hours later, Beacon Academy. Headmaster's office. Raven, are we sure we can trust him to do this? Crow, hey, you're still alive, be thankful he wasn't even going all out on you. Vernal, watch your tongue. Crow, whatever. Glinda, regardless, we must follow his instructions just in case he fails. Roman, guys, I'm here with a message. Ashben, what is it, Torchwick? Roman, it's for the Sparta family. Ironwood, Glinda, can you call them in? A few moments later. Sparta, has there been any news? Eva, please tell us. Ashben, about that. Roman hands them the letter. Upon reading it, Eva fell to her knees as she wept. Sparta walks to Ashben and grabs him by the collar. Sparta, this is your fault. Glinda, please calm down. Then the elevator doors open to reveal Summer, Ashben. She was then taken aback with the people in the room. Crow, short stack. He drops his flask and went to her. Summer, hey, it's okay, I'm real. Raven, if we can put the family reunion on hold and discuss the elephant in the room. Summer, good to see you too, Ray. Raven just crosses her arms and looks away. Ironwood, yes, Miss Rose, please continue about what you were about to say. She explains what has happened and the time she met with Vergil. Eva, is he? Before she could ask, a portal opened, and someone came out. It was a badly wounded Salem. Salem, Ozma. Everyone stood, weapons drawn, but Ashben signaled them to hold. Ashben, Salem. Salem, we have a big problem. She then passes out. Summer, what in the world? Then beyond the horizon of Vale, a grim wyvern awakens. The fall of Vale is coming.